morning I just got up and was sleeping in. I just found that, I wanted to say something about autistic burnout. The problem is you try to present yourself presentable, trying to hide your autistic traits and all that. Just quite often we're burned out. We need to get out, sometimes we just need to be free from all the madness. But Jim Carrey said, there's a difference between sadness and between depression. Sadness is just like you're sad. You've had enough, and you're grieving. You're just like you're at a loss of something. You've had enough, and you just can't. You're grieving. You just lost something, and you need some time to go through it. But some people just don't give you that time because they just need to because I'm being taught I'm supposed to mask my emotions, that's what men do, because that's what men do, as they say, But when you're depressed, it's like your body's telling you, that's it, I'm done. That's it. The body's saying, that's it, I'm done. I'm done trying to look like this, I am just, I've had, you try to present yourself like this in a certain way, but when you're depressed, it's like your body needs to, you need to rest, It's like, what if we were not a really good way of going into insight on depression is that what if we were not to see that as a mental illness, but more like deep rest? We've been trying to, we're frustrated, we're burned out, it really does. We're tired of trying to be a certain way, live a certain life, and it really does, there are times where I felt that way too, I'm just tired of having to do all these certain ways, because quite often autistic people get burned out because they're trying to mask their tendencies, and it's an overwork on the brain, because their brains are wired differently, my emotions, my senses, everything, it's really more noticeable, I have, when I think about it, I am very conscious. A lot of people with autism have a high sensitivity to even the faintest noise, sometimes the hearing goes in and it goes out, sometimes you're hearing you don't hear anything, you don't want. But then other times it's just everything's coming in at once, I need to get out. That's kind of the thing is, deep rest, It's a spiritual exhaustion that we enter, or when we're pressed down by that false self, that we try to show to others, But problem is, you don't seem to, when you're living in like that for so long, you don't seem to do some kind of thing, you just don't seem to, you get frustrated every little thing, and And the challenge we have is we have to silence the ego too. We just, how are we going to hear ourselves? As if the ego is going to drown it out, like I just, and if I need to, and just out of nowhere, I can just, if I need to be in a dark and quiet place, it's because I need to be in a place where I can recharge, and I need time to recharge, and like there's a fear of missing out now. But what if we were just saying is like having because my caregiver is always afraid I'm going to be missing out on so many things, But what if there was a joy of missing out? What if we were to find the joy of missing out on things, it really, it could be a real, sometimes I just need to miss out on things because, I'm burned out and I'm tired. So, anyways, that's all I have to say at this moment, so I'm also continue on tomorrow because this could be the last vlog I have for my vacation, and then going back home. Okay, so just thinking about there's a lot of people that are Karens. These people who are Karens are people who just they want a uniform system, is what it is. They just want these norms, a mere set of norms is what it is. And these norms are just they get enforced through a whole bunch of things, Karens are about uniformity in society without individual will and no change. Some people just want, a lot of baby boomers are very Karen-like, and my maternal grandmother was an absolute Karen, and along with my Auntie Rona. It passes on to that OCD. They think this has to be this way. No, it's all about their principles, their ideals, their ideologies. It's almost like because I remember this sermon at Impact Life Church about the fear of the Lord, there's a fine line which is on a narrow highway. There's the right ditch, which is the ditch of righteousness that he gets us stuck in. It's where it's where it's almost like everything just is very, you're trying to do everything right, but you're just not. But all of a sudden you do, but you don't realize what you're doing wrong. And there's the left ditch, which is the ditch of lawlessness, and of course, but that's neither of those. And which is better? Well, neither of them are. But pretty soon there will be no middle ground anymore. We gotta learn to choose which side we're on, and that will determine our eternal fate. It really just puts me off, enough. I've had enough. I'm just tired of, and I'm tired of all the crap that I have to put up with anymore. I just want to live my life on my terms. When I was a kid, my mom never took any of those expensive vacations at all. He was like only within like a 2.5 hour radius. That was about it. My dad, my mom and dad divorced because of my grandma's Karen like behavior. Like just it really it really does. And now I think about it, it really is. That kind of thing of how you're raising your kids is very toxic. I just, now I'm feeling like I'm going through the same oppressive system all over again, I don't want that. It's just gonna make me feel so bad, and, I've had enough, So, anyways, I'm gonna end this vlog here, because I've said enough, so like, tomorrow I'll be doing some laundry before I get back home, and then I'll see about whatever, and I'll just see where it goes from there. So until next time, stay tuned for more vlogs.